Good morning, Basstimers. It may not be morning where you are, where you're watching this, but it's morning for me. We're in a cold, wintry February day here in 2019, and I'm getting to do something today that I don't get to do much anymore. I'm very excited. Getting to play on a real live recording session with real live musicians. No overdubbing, no, here, I'll send you a 2-track of this. You put on that one part and then you send it over the information superhighway, and then we'll cobble it all together and call it a record. Oh, no, friends. We got real musicians in a room making music together today. My friend Jeremy Peace is the producer, who sings tenor with the Lefevre Quartet, has sung with the Old Pass Quartet and the Kingsman Quartet over the years. I've known him since that time, 15 years ago. And an even older friend, Mr. Danny Crawford, playing on the session today. And man, I'm super excited about that. I got to play with Danny back in the fall at the Rex Nealon tribute concert that our mutual friend Todd Nealon hosted and put together. And I played, Danny was actually one of the first musicians, professional studio musicians that I got to play with early on, 21 years ago. When I first started with Gold City and got into the studio business there of playing on sessions. And Danny taught me a lot, and we're going to talk to him today about some of the aspects of a bass player that he is looking for and that he is listening for, and in his point of view as a band leader and as a producer and arranger, what makes a good session bass player. I think it's great to talk to other bass players about what they do, what they like, their technique, their technology, their touch. Sorry, it's alliteration. I'm a preacher, you know. But I think it's equally important to talk to other musicians who play along in a band situation to find out what they are looking for in a bass player. What makes them feel comfortable, what gets the job done as a bass player in their book. Okay? Okay, so what am I thinking about as I'm making my way to a recording session? Whether I am at home doing overdubs or creating some sort of demo track or whatever it might be, it's a similar experience. If I know that I've got some work to do during the day, I will do the same thing that I'm doing now in the car, and that is I'm listening to some music that will blow your eardrums out. Okay, that's Stylish. That's the Mile and Hayes family, their new record. This is a family group that we're recording today, and I want to get my ears attuned to the style. Not that I'm unfamiliar with it, but I just kind of want to get in tune with it. I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to the little nuances that make that music as good as it can possibly be. I'm going over my checklist in my mind as far as all my gear, which I've double checked all along the process to make sure I've got basses. Got 4 basses today. I've got the Padula, I've got the Carlo Robelli acoustic bass, I got my dad's Epiphone red hollow body bass, which I'm trying to sneak in there somewhere. I just want to see how it sounds in the track. And then I got the 69P bass from church, borrowed it, and I'll bring it back tomorrow night from church. And so I got the 69P bass, the Epi hollow body, Carlo Rebelli acoustic bass, and the Padula. That's a 5-string. So I should have plenty enough basses. If one goes down, you know, if one seems like it sounds better within the context of this unit, this rhythm section, you know, I'll find that out pretty quickly, and they may have a style in the songs that one particular bass might lend itself better to tone-wise and feel-wise. We'll just see what happens. I have carried as few as one bass to a session, as many as 6. When I had an upright, and I had fretless, I had a few more basses, 5 strings and otherwise. Back in my professional full-time days, I had 7 or 8 basses at all times. Never enough. You think 7 basses? Oh, you never know. So, and I didn't bring Adeline's little Ibanez micro bass. I just didn't. Need strings, and it's kind of a novelty. But anyhow, I'm thinking about the style of music. I'm thinking about just going over my checklist of all my gear, and got plenty of 9-volt batteries for active electronics, and for my little preamp that I use, and compressor pedal. I'll show you that when we get plugged in up here in a little bit. So I'm just preparing myself musically. I'm not blasting you. I did that by accident a second ago. I'm not blasting music. And a lot of times, actually, I'll ride with earplugs in, because it gives your ears a freshness. Ear fatigue is a very real thing, and we'll talk about that maybe at the end of the day. I talked with a recording engineer friend of mine this week who asked me to take a listen to a mix that he was trying to finalize, because his ears were just so fatigued after about 3 or 4 days straight of mixing that he wanted to make sure he wasn't missing anything. And sure enough, it was a little, you know, might have just had one little tweak here or there, but ear fatigue is a very real thing. You need to pay attention to your ears. So that's just some thoughts that I'm thinking on the way to the session. So more to come. Okay, a couple of last minute thoughts as we're on the studio trail today, getting close to the place. Here's a principle for all musicians in all areas at all times. Mark this down. If you're on time, you're late. If you got a studio session, generally you've got a 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or 6 o'clock if you're working on 3-hour session things, or if it's an all-day thing. If you get there at 10 o'clock, you are late. You are late by a long ways. What do I mean by that? Well, you've got to get in there. If they say the session starts at 10, you've got other instruments to get sounds. What I mean by that is they've got to get audio going to the recording rig, and that's drums, that's keyboards, that's guitars, vocals, scratch vocals, whatever. Anything that you've got on the session has got to get time to plug in and get the correct sound levels going. So you got to get there early. I recommend 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the number of musicians. If you've ever been to the place before, or if it's a place you're familiar with, you might have a quicker setup than normal. But get there early to troubleshoot. You never know when a guitar cable or a patch cable might just decide to die on you. You never know when a 9-volt battery in some of your pedals or your active rig will just decide to, you know, just die all at once like that. And there you are. Hey, you're on time, but you're late because you didn't have time to troubleshoot. So get there a tad early. Take care of yourself, take care of your clients, take care of your bandmates, your rhythm section, your church musical situation. You never know what might happen that you need to fix, like a buzz or a hum. You might get away with a little buzz in your system or a hum in your system in a live situation or church or something like that, but I promise you, my friend, it will not fly on a recording session. You have got to make sure that you don't have any hums or buzzes in your system while you're recording. So get there in plenty of time to be able to troubleshoot. All right, about to head into this place, and I'll check in with you here a little bit later.